Separate politics from the economy, and that's why we always have political economy, because what happened in politics transcend and move into what happened in the economy. If you look at today's speech, actually paragraph 17 and 18, he made mention and admits the challenges Nigerians are facing concerning the oil fuel prices, and he also promised a lot that there will be massive investment that will be channeled towards health, transportation, education, and other social infrastructure. I think it's quite motivating to hear that, having looked at the challenges that we are facing currently in Nigeria concerning the fuel subsidy removal. You agree with me that we are not yet feeling it, or the ripple effect is not yet there for now, because it's just some days now. By the time it trickles down to the market, every aspect of the economy, you agree with me that you feel it more. So we expect government, both from federal and the state, to bring a cushion that will really meet up these challenges that we are facing concerning the fuel subsidy. Especially, there should be availability of transport, even though we expect there should be some things on ground before this decision to remove the fuel subsidy. You agree with me that the president before Bola Ahmed Tinubu have actually provided some things planned to be executed before the removal of the fuel subsidy. But this one come as a shock, because we are expecting it to lapse to the budgetary allocation for fuel subsidy to lapse by
was the end,
June.
like end of June?
Exactly. Expecting what happens during the inauguration to happen by July 1st. That was our expectation.
Well, talking about expectations, whether they are met or yet to be met, just like you also mentioned, where the part of the expectations was that some things could have been put on ground before this. But like the president said, it is a necessity that came at the right time. While we're trying to adjust, what would you say government should look out for as not just palliatives, but some sort of interventions to cushion the effect, while we look forward to either the immediate or the long-term promise of the massive investment in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and all the rest?
Right. As an economist, it is a popular decision to remove the fuel subsidy. We all agree that fuel subsidy must go. But the challenge is that what are the things that are supposed to be on ground? So if you ask me, I would like to let you Nigerians know that the first thing that we need, like I said, is the the availability of transport system. Because if there's enough, you see some states have started saying that people should work for only 3 days, and that is quite counterproductive. You are expected to be a productive economy, and you are saying people should be coming to work 3 days. So I think what government should do that is very, very urgent is that there should be an encouragement to even Dangote that this refinery is coming up. We expect it to start producing by the end of July. But what is much more paramount is for the importation also to be open to different importers, so that at least by so doing, when you have more of it in Nigeria, it may reduce the price of it. And the ultimate thing that will actually reduce the price in the long run is for Nigeria to have its own refinery. We are aware that some are coming up by December, but if we have enough, because if you look at the cost itself, transportation of fuel to Nigeria, it's about 27. It contribute to the 27% increment in the fuel, in the cost of the buying petroleum. Now, if you now remove that, that means from 57 naira to now reduce to about 398 naira or thereabout. So we want there to be enough, and there will be competition, because if there's competition, the price will definitely, just like what we experienced in the telecos, we want to experience that also in the oil and gas industry. That is what we are expecting from the government.
Okay, while we look forward to enjoy such dividends, just like it happened in the telecommunications in this particular sector, looking forward, the president from the first day of assumption in office, from even his inaugural speech, he announced some reforms in the financial sector, and that has also led to the suspension of the central bank governor, talking about Godwin Emefiele. Any impact on the financial market, particularly on the Naira? What should we expect? Should the Naira be tightened? Should the Naira get better? Is it dropping? What is the expectation?
Right. If you ask me, I think that's going to be a positive, it's a positive way, and it is in the right direction, because it is a popular decision that the the ousted CBN governor should have gone because if you look at his policy, there is a lot of policy issues that relate to the monetary policy. And you also agree with me that there's expected to be a synchronization of monetary policy and fiscal policy. But if you look at if fiscal policy is raising anything, the monetary policy will be bringing it down. So there should be a kind of marriage between the, if at all, there's an independent for CBN. So I think it is in the right direction. And for me, if you ask me, I think the new person will also bring that energy that we expected. And I think we need an economist at this point in time. Because most people that, if you look at people that are coming from the financial sector, they tend to serve those people in that area more. So we need an economist who is going to focus on the challenges of Nigeria, and we must understand and relate the challenge locally so as to provide solution. Because if you look at our foreign exchange, there is a lot of gap there. And if you look at most things that are expensive in Nigeria, you can also trace that to our foreign exchange. And I think by the time we have other Dangote and Co, this foreign exchange will be strengthened, because if you look at our foreign exchange, most of them even go into importation of fuel. So by now, I think Nigeria is in the right direction, and the president is leading and giving us confidence, because if you look at what he has been doing so far, he's showing us that we are in a good hand and good direction. We hope he also sustain that. But economy is not what you give to somebody or someone who cannot really manage it properly. So as we are expecting him to give it to another person, as we are expecting him to bring up a Minister of Finance and other financial people that will manage the financial sector, we want him to bring the best of Nigeria to that area, so that poor Nigerian can easily feel the impact. Because if you look at it, according to the president himself, he made mention that in 30 years ago, MKO manifesto is farewell to poverty. Now, going down 30 years now, we are still deep in poverty. Successive governments have bring up different poverty reduction. So I don't know how he also is going to bring poverty reduction. But the better thing is that President Muhammad Buhari has also institutionalized poverty reduction program through Federal Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management. I think if we institutionalize poverty reduction program, going forward, it will reduce our poverty in Nigeria.
Well, the present administration is not going away from that campaign slogan back 30 years, which is talking about farewell to poverty. And we've had a promise of investment, massive investment in infrastructure, healthcare, education, and all of that. As an economist, where do you think government should actually put in more of the efforts in the next 4 years? Maybe to start off with.
Right. I think first thing that President Tinubu needs to do is to create what we call economic activities. Because if there's economic activities, a lot of people will come into business. Now, the first thing is that the MSME, they remain the largest employer of labor in Nigeria. So they need to be strengthened. There should be provision of soft loan for these people to make sure that things move on. Then we must also look at productivity. Because if you look at our MPR is about 18.5%, and 18.5% will not encourage the manufacturer to invest. It will also not be a good thing for foreign direct investment to come into Nigeria. So we need to focus on that and making sure that our interest rates reduce drastically to encourage manufacture. Because if manufacture does not employ people, there will not be employment. The challenge of 37% unemployed youth we still have to consider. There must be economic activities that will engage people, and consequently it will now bring production and it will help the economy going forward.
Thank you so very much, Ali Elias, for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point in time.